when I started off, I was constantly looking for some credible source on doing on Launchpad comparisons, which is free of biases. The sources which could provide some credible information based on which I could make some decisions. I hope many IDO investors are also into this phase. So this video should help them. Life of IDO investors is not easy. In such conditions, it is super difficult for investors to get into top tier launchpads. However, it is easier to get into top tiers of launchpads during bear market, but this choice is filled with a lot of hard decisions and there is a lot of trade-off involved. What do I mean? There are several factors which need to be considered before you decide what launchpad is your top choice. These factors are: what is the return on investment, what is the cost of getting into launchpad, how how good is the quality of deal flows, is investing into these launchpads safe, do they offer a refund policy, how long is the staking period, what is the fee you have to pay either on staking, on unstaking, or while participating in IDOs. So a lot of many fees could be there. And then what are the supported chains? Possible that you are in IDO, you are onto a launchpad which supports sales only on, say, Arbitrum. But what about the hot launches which are happening on Sui, Aptos, ZK, or any other blockchain, say Solana? So today we are going to talk about all these factors and we'll discuss different launchpads. We'll restrict to discussing 5 to 7 launchpads in this video, and we'll try to make comparisons. Before we start the video, there is a necessary disclaimer. Any views which I share in this video are personal. Please do not consider it as an investment advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advice. You guys should do your own research before taking any investment decisions. Best is you consult your financial advisor before taking any financial decision. Then a disclosure, I am from RazrFi, so you need to know this. Although I'm making this video out of my interest, and this video will make sense to you only if my opinions are unbiased. So the way I have solved it is by refraining to give you a lot of viewpoints. I'll present the factual information in front of you and we'll discuss on few points which are important before you decide for a choice, or before you choose what launchpad you want to invest in. So the way I'm going to discuss all these launchpads is through this Excel sheet. So I have made this Excel sheet and I am going to talk about some launchpads today. Okay, let me just quickly say what are the launchpads I'm going to talk about. It is Dao Maker, Seedify, GameFi, Redkite, Enjinstarter, and RazrFi. There is no much specific reason. The reason I selected these launchpads is because many of these launchpads are actually active during this market and they are doing some fundraisers. So the way I have designed this Excel sheet is that I've included some points which are not so difficult to find, but then are an important points which an IDO investors need to keep in mind before investing. And usually you will have to run to different places to get this information. I'm just presenting it to you in this Excel sheet. So what factors I have included? The number one is, what is the cost of lowest tier? What is the cost of getting into top tier? What is the minimum staking period? What is maximum staking period? What is the allocation model adapted at the launchpad? Do they have any IDO price guarantee model or a refund policy? What is the APY offered? And what is the amount of allocation if you are in the lowest tier? What is the amount of allocation if you are in the highest tiers? And then there are some remarks, some important points which I thought are crucial to remember when joining IDOs. Or if the project has done some innovation, I have mentioned that in this Excel sheet. Another disclaimer, when we in this Excel sheet, I have not ordered them by any ranks. So please do not consider that I have ordered these launchpads by any ranks. So or they are neither in order of my priority or my preference. I have just mentioned them randomly. So first to start with is Dao Maker. This is the top tier launchpad. In fact, the number one launchpad in the market. They also have a huge market cap and they have done a lot of fundraisers. Another reason is that Another reason for this being the favorite launchpad of many IDO investors is that they have been consistently doing good fundraisers. So let's go to CryptoRank and see their fundraisers. So as for example, they did a fundraiser called Tenet recently. It did 13 to 17x on launch. Here it shows 13x, but I remember that I made one video and I was tracking the price. It actually did like 17x on launch at its peak, and even now the token trades at 8 to 10x. So if you would have invested, definitely you would have got an 8x return on your initial unlock. But major of these launches actually have done well, and even after launch, many of the projects are trading at above IDO price. As for example, SuiPad, it launched on at 9. The ATH ROI was 9.98, and right now it trades at 3.83. Not bad. The only exception being this Turbos Finance, for which they made a refund. The ATH ROI was 1.9x, and current ROI is that it is trading at half the IDO price. This is RYPad. It did 4.92x, not too great, but it still trades above IDO price, so not too bad. Yeah, so as you can see that most of the launches have done good. This one is an exceptional one, and these are the ones which actually attract a lot of attention from me and also from IDO investors, which is a 29x on the launch. So just a pointer here, the kind of launches which I like are the ones which either do a multiple big X on return, a multi-bagger return on its launch, which is like 29, 30, 40, 50x. And the second type of launches which I like is that the ones which actually launch with a good multiple and they keep on trading with good multiple, so that when your rest of the vestings is unlocked, you are not at loss. But yeah, there have been some hits and misses, but majorly the tokens have done well on the launches and they have not performed too bad after the launch has happened. Yeah, so coming back to our sheet, the lowest tier is priced at around $200, give and take a few dollars. No, but the lowest price is $200. So if it, and the highest tier price at a whopping 154,000, give and take a few $1,000s. So in case if you want to get in this launchpad, you need to invest minimum of $200 and stake their DAO tokens in order to be eligible for the private SHO, which they do. They do two kinds of SHOs or IDOs. One is for their stakers and one is open to everyone. So, and then minimum staking period is 30 days, maximum period is 1095 days. What is the allocation model? The allocation model is guaranteed. Is there an IDO price guarantee or a refund policy? I tried to find out. I think that there is no refund policy on Dao Maker, and this being a top launchpad, looks like that they do not even have to offer any IDO price guarantee, because people trust their brand name, and there is already a lot of mass which is coming and joining this launchpad. I did not bother too much about finding what their APY is. I'm sure there is some APY, and yeah, so this is a very important factor. If you get into the lowest tier with a $200 investment, what is the allocation you can expect to get in the staker rounds or in the IDOs which are open to the stakers? So you can expect somewhere around $6 to $7 or $10 of unlock. So now this needs a lot of focus, because many people ignore this point and then they realize that they have missed on a lot of gains by making incorrect decisions. So as for example, if money is not a constraint for you and you want decent returns on crypto, then my recommendation will be to not choose for a lower tier in these launchpads. Okay, so I'll just give you an example. For example, most launches which are happening these days are having an unlock of 10, 15 or 20% at the most. So say for example, you invested $200, but you got a $10 allocation. So this $10 allocation, if there is in fact a 20% unlock, you'll get $2 unlock, and if the token does a 10x, you'll get $20 back. You got $20 only with the initial unlock, and there is more vesting to be claimed. But this definitely is not huge amount of money. So if you are dreaming of making big amount on your capital, and if the ideas are also doing well, then this is not the kind of allocation which should work for people with huge ambitions. If you're doing it for fun, or if you are just trying your hands on crypto, or if your budget is not big, then of course this makes sense for you. But I think there is a lot of effort one has to put, putting $200, tracking IDOs, and then getting a $10 allocation, and then tracking when it is listing, and then selling at ATH. There are a lot of constraints, right? So if you invest 150K into DAO tokens and get into top tier today, then you are poised to get a 5 to 6 or 7,000 kind of allocation on your tokens. Now, just talking about the irony for IDO investor, because money is a constraint for most people. If money is not a constraint, then of course you need not bother about getting into top tier launchpad and adapt this strategy. So all you need to have is say 160K or 165K, and you get into this top tier, and you keep on investing 7 8K in each IDO, and yeah, you will keep on getting some funds. Say for So in bear markets, you can expect that you are getting double the money on TG allocation itself. But this definitely changes a lot when bull market comes. Let me just highlight here. So when bull market comes, you get to see these kind of launches where you get a 300x, 350x to 300x kinds of returns, which are really great. Yeah, coming back to our sheet, talking about some important points which you need to remember. So some innovation which they have done is now you can deposit 4 times of your potential allocation. So they show you some kind of tentative allocation which you can get. So what you can do is you can deposit 4 times of that money. In case the IDO is undersubscribed, you will get more allocation which than your tentative allocation. If the IDO is oversubscribed, you will get your tentative allocation, and all the extra money will be refunded back to you in your wallet. So now another thing, since maintaining the DAO tokens price also is a concern, and this is a concern for all launchpads, they have introduced some kind of mechanism which discourages unstaking, because there is an early unstake fee. So be ready to pay that fees if you are unstaking. Unstaking will also result into losing all the unvested IDO tokens. So as for example, you invested in an IDO and it did a 20x on its launch, but you are looking to move your funds to another launchpad, or the DAO token price has pumped and you want to book your profits and maybe want to later buy back DAO tokens again. But that is not encouraged, because you will also lose the unvested IDO tokens if you unstake your tokens, because you will also lose the tokens which are unvested for any IDO you invested in. And then there is a public round and a staker round. So in public round, users have to pay a 30% fees to get an allocation. There is also fees for staker rounds. However, the fees is less, and here stakers pay 20%. So what does it mean? It means that if you have an allocation of $100, you will get only $80 worth of allocation. 20% will be deducted as fees. It is just like saying that if the IDO price of a token is at $1, so you have to pay $1.2 for getting your allocation. So it is an alternative way of saying. I'll not get into complications. I think you understand what the fees is. And then there is another kind of fees, which is late unstake fee. Not sure if this is implemented right now as well, but this basically means that once your staking period is over, you have to unstake your tokens and stake them back again. If you don't unstake, then there is some kind of fees. And then what does DAO Maker do with all these fees? It actually uses the fee to in innovative ways. So it is actually doing some innovation to balance out the demand and supply. One perspective is that it is balancing the supply and demand. I'll share another perspective on this. So the fees basically is used, some portion of the fees is used to buy back DAO, then buy back DAO tokens. One portion of the fees is used to buy back DAO tokens. Another portion is used to pay APY rewards to the stakers who have staked their tokens. And then one portion goes to ecosystem development pool, which actually is a very interesting pool where they buy the tokens of the projects they have launched. Thus, this will increase the value of the IDOs which they have done, and in effect, it will benefit everyone. And then there is some portion which is reserved for token bone, and they will use those funds to take away the supply from market and thereby helping the DAO token price. And of course, this will result in a higher market cap for DAO tokens. So that's one perspective, that perspective on it. Another perspective is that it is actually the user who is participating in these IDOs or unstaking the tokens or whatever is paying for all these fees. Okay, so basically you are paying for your own fees here. So next comes Seedify. Um, Seedify recently increased their lowest tier from 250 to 500, and although they are supporting the lowest tier with the 250 S1 tokens, but I think slowly they'll move to 500 tokens as their lowest tier. So getting into Seedify, lowest tier amount is 495, top tier costs so whopping $99,000, minimum staking period 30 days, and maximum staking period is 270 days. All the tiers are guaranteed tiers in their updated model. So they do offer some kind of IDO price guarantee. They have introduced another version of IDO price guarantee recently, and this offers 24-hour lookup period. If you like the performance of the token, or for some reason if you want to claim your tokens, you can claim. If for some reason you want to refund, you can refund them. This kind of guarantee will not be applicable on all the launches. It will be applicable on some of the launches. Another kind of guarantee which they are offering is a 14 days guarantee model, where if the token price goes below IDO price and remains below for continuous 3 days, they will offer you a refund. So what are the APY returns? APY is 5%, 11%, and 25% depending. And then what is the allocation in the lowest tier? So lowest tier, as you can see, you have to invest around $500. The allocation you get is about $6 to $7, and allocation for the highest tiers is 1500 to 1800. Next comes GameFi. Lowest tiers is priced at 140, top tier is priced at 3500. This is way cheaper than these two launchpads, and recently they have become active. They were not doing a lot of fundraisers earlier. Oh, in fact, I forgot to go. Okay, let's go to Seedify raises. Ignore these two because they have recently raised funds for them. The last one was Synergyland. This was not a very good one, I would say it, but yeah, it is not also too bad because the token traded at IDO price and is still trading at IDO above IDO price. This one counts as a very good one in my personal opinion. Why? Because it did a ATH ROI of 5x, 5 to 6x, and it still trades at 3.25x, and it launched somewhere in the May beginning. So 20 days from the launch, it still trades at a healthy 3x the price, meaning that when users will get their the next vesting, they may not have to look at losses or the price going down. Let's go through the kind of launches they have done in recent past. So yeah, there have been some hits and misses. As for example, it did a 1.17x on launch and trades at 0.69x. This is not too bad, but yes, certainly not what usually IDO investors like. Yeah, this one is good. So in fact, I would say Hypercycle, since it has launched only recently, we can ignore this, but definitely this one is good. This is the kind of launch which I like, which did a 4.8x on launch and still trades at a 3.8x. And I think the vestings for the Launchpads is already over for this one. So it launched in March 2023, and we are about to enter June month, and it still trades at a 4x of its IDO price. Now talking about GameFi, GameFi had not probably doing a lot of launches. Yeah, so we come to CryptoRank and see the launches they have done. The last launch before RazrFi they had done in August 2022. They had paused doing the launches, but now they are back in the game, and they started off with RazrFi, which did a 4.92x on launch, and the present ROI is 2.52x. So around 20 days from the launch, token trades at a good price. Not bad, definitely not bad. Then just give a look at the kind of raises they did. They did it quite some time back last year in August. This one did a 1x, and current ROI is 0.02. Not great, of course, but this one is not too bad. I think it did a 3x on the launch, and it trades at a half the IDO price. And this is of course a quality launch which did a 15x on its launch, and it still trades at 2.68x. So the minimum you need to invest in GameFi is 140, and the allocation you get here is certainly higher than you can get in Dao Maker and Seedify. The reason being that these guys are not doing a lot of launches, and now they have started. And also Dao Maker and Seedify enjoy a higher reputation in the market than some other launchpads which actually started later on. So the highest allocation you can expect to get here is $700. This could be different, but my research shows that yes, this is the kind of allocation which you can get. The maximum, the amount you have to pay to get into the top tier is $3,500. And then yeah, some innovations or some remarks on their launchpad. So they do, yeah, this one is one innovation. Number one is an innovation. They do an NFT launch, or they do an NFT auction every month, and the top 12 people who have staked the most number of tokens can actually get NFTs, and these NFTs have guaranteed to pool. 20% of the pool from any IDO goes here. Second is that they address users who are interested in only APY rewards in this market. So APY staking is separate from the IGO staking. I think IGO staking does not have an APY. Third one is yes, this one is very good. There is actually no minimum or maximum period of staking. But yes, of course, there is a delay period for different years. What does this delay period mean? It means that after you unstake, you will get your tokens back with a delay of say 5 days or 7 days or whatever they have decided based on their tiers. So this is something which I think a user must know. So next one is Redkite. Let's first see how Redkite is doing and if they are doing some launches these days. Yeah, so definitely Redkite has done more launches than GameFi because they have been active in uh, 2023 as well. So the period, of course, has been filled with some hits and misses. RYPad being a very good launch. So for like 20 days from the launch, the token still trades at 2.52x price. So let's not go there. Other launches have done some decent multiples on the launch, but the current ROI is low. So if the tokens are being vested, then the investors are not making huge profit. Okay, let's go back to the sheet and try to learn more about them. Lowest tier is $85. Top tier is $13,500. This is way too high, and of course higher than GameFi, which is also a launchpad from IC Labs. And the allocation you can get here, yes, so the allocation you can get here is a bit higher than GameFi. You can get a $30 to $70 of allocation if you put $85. And for $13,500, I could not clearly identify how much is the dollar amount, but I could not clearly find what is the maximum allocation you can get in Redkite. But so I'll not say anything, but my guess is that you can find, say, $1,000 of allocation, 1,500 or $2,000 of allocation here. This is only a guess, purely guess. So next comes Enjinstarter. Getting into lowest tier where you can get a guaranteed allocation will cost you $120. There is another tier with Enjinstarter, which is actually a smart move, where they have kept the tier, and the tier will cost only $5 to $6, and but you will be eligible to get into their FCFS rounds. So top tier in Enjinstarter will cost somewhere around $2,500, which is also very inexpensive if you compare it to some other good launchpads. Staking period, they offer different staking period. Minimum staking is 31 days, maximum is 990 days. Let's quickly jump to the most important factor, which is related to how much is the expense you have to make and how much allocation you get. Yeah, so let's quickly jump to the section where we learn about how much allocation you can get if you invested in the lowest tier or in the highest tier. So the lowest tier with $120 of investment can fetch you anywhere between $6 to $23. However, here also is a very interesting point. They have actually done a good innovation. If you stake higher number of tokens, then you can get higher allocation. I think this can be better explained with an example. Coming to this section, you can see this is their lowest tier where you can get $6 to $23 of allocation. What does it mean? It means that, okay, let me explain here. So the lowest tier requires you to stake $25,000. Oh, I'm sorry. The lowest tier requires you to stake 25,000 EGS token. If you have staked this much, you are a universe tier. But and the metaverse tier requires you to stake 100,000, more than 100,000 EGS tokens. So, but what happens to people who have invested between 25,000 to between 25,001 to 100,000 tokens? So how? So let me explain this with an example. How two people staking in the same tier are distinguished in Enjinstarter and how their allocation can differ. This is very simple to understand. Say you are in a universe tier and you stake 25,000, and compare this to a person who has staked 50,000 and he is also in the same tier. So a person who staked 25,000 gets $6 of allocation. So 6 divided by 25,001. So the one who staked 25,001 token will get $6 of allocation. But how much allocation to the user who staked 50,000 tokens? So his allocation should be 11.99. Likewise, you can calculate for someone who has staked 75,000 or someone who has staked 100,000. So coming back to our sheet, yeah. So okay, coming back to our Excel sheet, the top tier costs you $2,500. But what is the allocation you can get? So the allocation in each tier actually differs for each user based on the number of EGS they have staked. So if you have staked only the bare minimum, expect to get $175 to $200 of allocation. Of course, it will vary depending upon the pool size of the IDO. And maximum you can expect maximum allocation which you can expect to get is about $900 to $1,000, which of course will also vary depending upon the pool size. The innovation which they have done is that each EGS which is staked on Enjinstarter is powerful. So as I've already explained and elaborated on this factor a lot. So the minimum and maximum staking period, minimum staking period is 31 days. Maximum staking period allowed is 990 days. They offer different kind of pools in which you have to go and stake your tokens depending upon how long you want to stake them for. So there are multiple options there. Allocation model, allocation model, I have already touched upon this a bit. Okay, let me elaborate more once again. Is that they follow guaranteed and FCFS model. So the first round is a gap round, which is guaranteed allocation pool, and where basically stakers can come and buy their allocation if they are willing to. And then comes the FCFS round. In FCFS round, all tiers can participate, including the tier which costs you only $5 to get in. Then talking about their IDO price guarantee model. They recently revised their refund policy, and now they have three variants. Number one variant offers you a guarantee valid for 24 hours. If the price goes below IDO price during the initial 24 hour of trading, the refunds will be triggered. And then another variant is for 14 days, and the last one is till 40% of vesting is done. The way this works is that user will be eligible to get a refund if the token price trades below IDO price till the time 40% vesting is done. Okay. So we have already talked about their innovation. Each AGS staked is powerful. Users in the same tier are distinguished from each other depending upon how much EGS they have staked. So you could be in their top tier, but if the other user has staked more tokens than you in the top tier, then that user will get more allocation than you. We need to see how Enjinstarter launches have been doing. So just ignore the top two because they have just raised funds for them and they are yet to get listed. Let's see the other listings. They have been doing some good launches. In the ones which actually stand out are these two, ChainGPT and Carbon Browser. So Carbon did a 40x, 41x, and ChainGPT did a 42x. Carbon Browser, of course, launched in February 2023, and 4 to 5 months after its launch, also it's still trading above IDO price. So, of course, the IDO investors would have been super happy all through their vesting. They also launched GFAL, which is a good one. um, which is also the kinds I appreciate. So other than that, there have been some hits and misses, as for example, this Unfettered, which did a 1.8x on launch, and current ROI is 0.66. But I think this keeps on happening with many launches, and these are to be ignored. You can go ahead and do further research about their launches on CryptoRank or by going on their website. So coming back to our sheet, the last one we are going to talk about is of course RazrFi. RazrFi lowest tier is only $2. This is way too inexpensive compared to any other launchpad, at least in the list which we are discussing. And the top tier for RazrFi is also very inexpensive. It is only $1,000. The minimum staking period is 14 days and maximum staking period is 60 day. Let's see what is the allocation you can get. So the allocation which RazrFi is offering as of now in last few raises averages to somewhere around these figures. So allocation in a lowest tier, by investing only $2, you can get an allocation of $750. Allocation in the highest tier is $6,000. So allocation wise, definitely this one stands out a lot because the tiers are very inexpensive right now, and the allocation offer is way too high. Of course, there are other factors which one needs to take care of, and we will go there. The model is lottery model. There is no FCFS. It's a lottery and it's not a guaranteed model. However, their top tier almost behaves like a guaranteed tier because it's not a crowded one. The IDO guarantee model, as of now, they offer only one variant on refund policy or ideal price guarantee. This covers you till the time 51% of the vesting is done. This makes it very interesting because basically you can be really stress free till the time 51% of the vesting is done. So guarantee wise, this of course stands out. Let's go to how RazrFi is performing. Let's go to CryptoRank. So yes, they have been fairly active in launching projects. So whether there are some launches which fall into my favorite category, yes, there are one or two launches. As for example, Honeyland, which did a 3.5x on its launch, and it launched in March, and 3 months down the line, it still trades at 1.5x. And mind you, this was covered with their 51% guarantee model. The other ones have not too been great. The one which stands out is this choice.com, which did a like 7x on its launch, and it launched in March 2022, and it still trades above IDO price. In terms of allocation per dollar and the IDO guarantee model, RazrFi stands out. I think only thing they are waiting to get is a big multiplier on their launches, which can consistently do well. So, mind you, the way these all launchpads function is these days is that they give you, most of the launchpads give you some kind of ideal price guarantee model. And if the token does well, you get your initial capital out. If the token trades below ideal price, you can get a refund. So that way, participating in some of these launchpads is way safer. I hope this video added some value to your decision making. And here's an interesting announcement. If this video gets more than 100 likes, say in next 2 to 3 days, I will give you the link to this Excel sheet which I am maintaining, and I'll keep updating this Excel sheet for your benefit. So give this video a like, and in case you think that I should make more of such videos, please do comment on this video. In case you want me to cover some interesting launchpads which you are following, please do let me know. And of course, my humble request, if I made some mistake in putting some information, please point that out in comments, and I will at least rectify in the Excel sheet. Thank you. Bye-bye.